Welcome to this video, and we're going to be talking about better email marketing. Now, I know that emails are something that's kind of trivial, right? Like when somebody says to you, well, do you know how to send an email properly? You kind of like, duh, yeah, of course I know how to send an email. You pick who you want to send it to, then you type up the email and you click send. Well, there are some ways to do it better, believe it or not, so that the email actually performs better. In internet marketing, obviously, there is what we call a breakpoint chain, and there's a marketing chain basically, and there's a lot of breakpoints in that chain. There's a lot of things that have to happen to get your customer to buy a product. And especially when you're trying to drive the traffic through emails, whether you're sending the emails that contain a link or you're providing emails for your affiliates to send that contain a link, basically the email has to first make it into the inbox and get seen. Then the subject line has to be compelling enough for them to open the email. Then the email copy or the body of it needs to look right and needs to sound right to them or read properly in order for them to click on the link. Then they get to your page. Now they have to be captivated by what they see on top of the page. Then they have to, want to, scroll down and click your buy button. There's a lot of links to this chain to get people to buy from you. And every single one of those links is a potential breakpoint. So you could be doing a whole bunch of them really well, but then the moment that they get to the one link in your chain where you're not doing it well, boom, you just lost that person. So it doesn't matter how good you do everything that leads up to that breakpoint. The fact that you were doing one thing wrong screwed up your entire sales process. Does that make sense? So there is, in fact, ways to send emails that are better, that are going to work better, that are going to get into the inbox better. And I think a lot of people mess this up nowadays because they don't bear in mind all those breakpoints. People are looking at your email on mobile devices now. They're looking at them on their phone. They're looking at them on their iPad, on their tablet, on their PC, on their laptop. There's all different ways that they might be looking at the email. And the email needs to look good. It needs to look legible. It needs to be properly formatted across all of those devices. And I still see people making these big mistakes where they don't consider that. They just think, oh, well, I'm just going to, take this, copy this and paste it here and boom, they're going to get my email and that's that. And if they don't like it, well, too bad. Well, too bad for you because you're not going to make a sale. The majority of people, I think something like 60% or I don't know, don't quote me on that. They're looking at your email and they're looking at their emails through a mobile device, right? So there's a lot of things to consider there. How is your email looking on that mobile device? Is it properly formatted? Okay, are you formatting for mobile? For example, when you type up the email, how many characters are you typing on one line? Are you typing all the way to the end of the page? Because remember, when people are looking at this on their phone, they're usually holding the phone straight up. It's not sideways. So it's not horizontal. It's usually vertical, which means that there's a narrow column that they're reading the text from. And if you're not formatted to be within that narrow column, your email is going to look like crap. There's going to be all kinds of formatting indentations and things like that. This affects the viewer's propensity to continue reading, and it affects the amount of people that'll click. The average person will just, if it doesn't look right to them, it's not appealing, they're just going to delete it. In your mind, you're thinking, yeah, no, they'll just save it till later, and then they'll read it when they get to their computer at home where it's going to look beautiful. Wrong. Thanks for playing. You just lost a sale. I got that sale because I was formatting properly. So these are simple things to do, by the way. I'm not talking about you need all kinds of special software and things to make this work. No. Just, generally speaking, when you're using Aweber, for example, as your autoresponder to bulk email people, I like to keep my sentences no further than 40 characters when I'm using the default font size. Okay? Obviously, this will change. If you're using a really large font, the character count comes down. If you're using a really small font, which you shouldn't because now it becomes hard to see, the character font will go up. The character count will go up. Right? So the important thing to consider is that in this narrow column of the mobile device that they're using, typically a phone, it's going to be compressed, right? So you don't want to be typing email. And I see this so often where people just, they're typing and they're typing and they're typing and they're typing and like their email just goes all the way. I get like to the first 3 or 4 words and I'm like, oh, come on, this guy's an idiot. If you don't know how to format an email properly, what on God's green earth makes you think that I'm going to take, marketing advice from you? You don't know how to send an email. Always remember to use the correct variables. Now, depending on what autoresponder you're using, these variables will differ. Right? Now, a variable is a little bit of code typically contained in the little squiggly brackets that you see there. And that code, or we call a short code, that little short code, when you paste that into the email copy, the autoresponder dynamically replaces that code with the text on file that represents that variable. Meaning, if I insert the first name fix variable, what it's going to do is it's going to take the first name of that subscriber that's receiving that email and it's going to drop it into that spot. The underscore fix does a couple of things. Primarily, it fixes capitalization issues. Sometimes when people opt into your web form, they might type in all caps, they might type in, well, the underscore fix addresses that so that when your email gets received, they're not seeing dear and then, in the proper formatting with just a capital D and then EAR, and then the actual name is all screwed up or capitalized and not looking properly. That's what the underscore fix, at the end of the first name variable does, okay? At least in Aweber. Now, whether you're using GetResponse, Constant Contact, whatever you're using, it's important that you use the proper variable. Now, it happens to everybody. If you're typing these in manually, you might screw it up, and somebody's going to get an email that says first name fix. It's happened to me. It'll probably continue happening in the future. Sometimes when you're doing this fast, it happens. What can I say? But this is something this is a major break point, right? And when somebody, especially in marketing, you're in the business. You're trying to position yourself and establish a rapport of being an expert in marketing. Yet you're sending your prospect something that says, "Hi, first name." All right, dude, you know what? If you just called me first name fix, you just lost all credibility as an expert marketer. So it happens to all of us, but this is something that you should really look out for. And this doesn't particularly have anything to do with mobile or PCs or laptops or whatever. The variable is the variable. But it's just one of the things that's important for you to keep in mind when you're creating your email copy. And by the way, using variables are a great way to connect with your audience, right? So when you call somebody by their first name, that's an important, as a matter of fact, a person's name is the word that they've heard most in the entire English language. Their name is the word they've heard most throughout their entire lives. More than any other word, they've heard their name. And that word commands their attention. Whenever that word is called out in public, they look. It commands their attention. All their lives, they've been trained by the world to respond to their name. So use their name. This isn't rocket science. Just use their name. Use a visually friendly layout. Here's another issue. People don't use the return key, the enter key, often enough. Do you know that there's 2 ways to hit enter? Pretty much on any kind of software, whether it's autoresponder or, HTML editors, anything. You could just hit the enter key, or you could hit shift enter. When you just hit the enter key, that's a hard paragraph break. When you hit shift enter, that's a soft paragraph break. Okay, so when you're within the same paragraph and you just want to drop the paragraph to a new line, you should hit shift enter. When you are trying to start a completely new paragraph, you should just hit enter. How often should you hit shift enter? Every 40 characters or so, right? So what this ends up giving you is a narrow column type of email layout that's very easily read across mobile devices. Okay, and a lot of people don't do this. They just keep typing and typing and typing and typing and typing till the end of the paragraph. Boom, then they hit enter. Then they keep typing and typing and typing and typing, and then what you end up with is a whole bunch of text in this WYSIWYG that you call it as an email, and then people get it, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just, ugh. Remember, people don't tend to set aside time in their plans for the day for checking email. It just doesn't happen. So they're usually checking their emails in a hurry. They're in the process of getting through a series of emails. They got to get to the email after yours. If yours in any way is tedious or sore on the eyes or whatever, they're just going to move on, man. They're going to delete it. They're not going to bother. And all of these things are breakpoints. They affect whether or not your email is going to be effective at getting the person over to the sales page that you're trying to send them to, whether an affiliate product or your own product. Here's another thing. How do you get people to click on a link? Well, you should be using anchor text. Don't use ugly affiliate links inside of your... Don't do that. Use anchor text. And here's a little secret. Use your subject line as your anchor text. It increases the click-through rate. So, if your subject line, for example, is awesome new product just released today, then somewhere in your email you should have that same text. Awesome new product just released today, only that text should be clickable. When the anchor text for the link matches the subject line, your click-through rate goes up. We've tested this, it works. Here's another thing that you should test. You should test what tends to work best for your list. Long copy, where you're telling a long story in the email. Short copy, where it's quick to the point. Hey, this is what's going on. This is how it's going on. Click here to see it going on. Boom. Or moderate copy, where you're kind of telling a little story, maybe quick, a few paragraphs. You know, there's long, there's short, there's moderate copy. Now, some people say, hey, you should mail short email copy earlier in the day because people are checking their emails at work. They don't have time to go through things. If you're going to send longer copy, send it at evenings and weekends. If you're just going to send moderate copy, send that around rush hour. You know, these are the kind of things that, like, mentality that goes into it. If you ask 10 different email marketers or affiliate marketers or just marketers in general their opinion on this, you're going to get 10 different opinions, right? The right answer for you as to how long should my email be is going to depend on your own test. Now, my personal test, what I found is that when I'm promoting a product, I usually promote a product for a few days, right? And on my first day of promoting a product, I like to send a short, quick little email. Hey guys, this just released. I would love for you to go check it out. Click this link below and see what I'm talking about. Boom. So that is going to get people there right away. Now, on the second day, I'll send a little bit longer of an email. Hey, man, not sure if you saw the thing that I sent yesterday, but the reason it's awesome and that a lot of people are clicking on it is because this, that, the other thing. Here's what a lot of people found. It's moving, it's grooving, it's awesome. You should check it out. Boom. All right, so a little bit, more moderate copy. And then towards the end of the campaign, I'll actually start getting short again. So in the beginning of the campaign when I'm promoting, so let's say that I was going to send 5 emails. My first email would be a short email. My second email on day 2 would be a little bit longer, so like a moderate copy. My third email, the one right in the middle of the campaign, is the longest one of all. Then I go back down to a moderately sized email, and then the last email of the campaign is going to be short. So short, moderate, long, moderate, short. Okay? And that's the way that I have found to get the highest amount of click-throughs over time and the highest conversion rate of my emails. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about now is subject lines. Subject lines are really, really important, okay? Now, getting to the email inbox is equally as important because before they even read your subject line or even see it, you have to make sure that you got into the inbox. And there's a lot of ways to do that, getting people to whitelist your email and not using spammy content, spammy words, running your content through, your spam assassin score, checking your spam assassin score, making sure that you're not using certain words that are going to trigger the spam filter. So those things are all important. But we're not talking about that in this video. What I want to talk about in this video is subject lines. And one of my friends, a really good friend of mine named Kenster, recently shared some cool subject lines. As a matter of fact, here are the subject line styles. You can follow Kenster on Facebook. He's a really, really cool guy. His name's Ken Spanner. He's got an excellent product called Six Figure Business Academy that you should check out. Kenster is awesome. He's one of the most well-liked marketers, and he posted this on Facebook, and it's some subject line styles that he's used very successfully in his own marketing. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, that is amazing. I love Kenster stuff, and this is the reason why. So I decided, well, I'm going to share that with my people. So props to Kenster. Follow Kenster. This stuff and these subject lines come from him, and I love them. I've started using some of them myself, and as a matter of fact, just last night I used one, and I had awesome results with it. I'll share with you in a minute the one that I selected. But these are the different groupings that Kenster provides. And he says your subject lines should deal with these certain emotions: fascination, qualification, curiosity. You should have questions as subject lines, benefits. You should be a reporter. You should have reporter subject lines, universal issues, urgency, numbered lists work very well, and controversial subject lines all work very well. Remember, the whole purpose of the subject line is for people to read it and then click. They have to click to open. So every part of the marketing chain, the purpose of every single part of the marketing chain is to get them to the next part. That is the purpose of every part. So the purpose of the subject line is to get them to the email copy. The purpose of the email copy is to get them to the sales page. The purpose of the sales page is to get them to the order page, etc. So this is the subject line section, and the purpose of these subject lines is to get people to open it. Okay, so let's go take a look at some of these subject lines here so that your wheels can get turning. And again, they don't have to be exactly like this. As a matter of fact, derivatives of these subject lines. You should use these as a way to come up with ideas for your own subject lines. But let's look at the fascination ones first, okay? So here's an example. I sold 5,000 units in 48 hours. Here's how, ... Now, you'll notice that a lot of these email subject lines end with a ... or a dash or some sense of suspense, right? So the reason for that is you want people to long for the second half of that statement. So when they're reading the email subject line, they should be left in suspense a little bit, right? So they're like, hey, I found a great way to do XYZ. And ... And then it's like, oh, well, what do you mean? And then now they have to click and open the email to find out. So these sorts of formats turn to work well. The major mistake that's crippling your sales figures ... Well, these are fascinating emails because making like, huh? Wow. Like there's a major mistake? This program could change internet marketing forever. It could? Wow, that's fascinating. Find these hidden gems before anyone else does. Wow. Panda updates. Too much competition. No list. So what? How to build a list of 50,000 in the next 60 days. Wow, I can have 50,000 people on my list. A simple trick to boost your conversions with no extra work. Again, something that gives you that wow factor, that fascination factor. A fantastic way to turn $10,000 into $10,000. I'm sorry. A fantastic way to turn $10. Tongue twister. A fantastic way to turn $10 into $10,000. Oh, look, Google's done it again. This means trouble. So you see how it's kind of leaving people hanging on the subject line? It's like, this means trouble. What means trouble? Wait a minute. Let me click here. This is fascinating. 15,000 clicks in 12 hours. You've got to see this, right? So again, fascination and suspense. Let's go to the next group, qualification. Now, these sorts of emails get a much more targeted group or a much more targeted audience to open, right? So you might not have as high of an actual open rate, but your click-through rate is going to be sky high because you're qualifying. You're weeding out the people that the email copy is not going to apply to. Niche markets for marketers who travel, for example. Okay, so if I'm not a marketer that travels, I won't even open that. But that's fine because maybe the product that you're promoting is only going to appeal to those sorts of people. If you know how to ... Okay, so obviously qualifying somebody would, if you know how to, and then you would insert the topic you're talking about. Don't read this email unless, and obviously insert the thing you're talking about. If you're only interested in making money, ignore this. Wow. That's an interesting one. So whenever you tell someone to ignore something, they're going to look into it, right? So it's just kind of human nature. Message open to the first 63 people. That is big. When you put, because what they're doing here is they're putting scarcity as well. You're using scarcity as part of the subject line because you're like, oh, wait, am I one of the 63? Boom. Oh, yeah, okay, I was able to open it, right? Only 5% will qualify. Well, am I one of the 5%? Wait, what do you mean? What's the qualifications? Boom. They don't even know what you're talking about yet. But again, these are suspenseful qualifying subject lines. Only read this if, and then you put in your qualifier there. Only read this if you're a parent. Only read this if you're a male. Only read this if you're a female. Only read this if you breathe oxygen. Whatever, insert it there. Wanted. Bloggers who write their own content. I don't tend to like using the wanted subject line. Now, this has had great success for a lot of people in specific niches. This is something you'd want to test. PPC experts only. Again, very qualifying, right? Very, very qualifying. This will only apply to the top 5%. Well, I'm in the top 5%. So again, this is going to cause a specific type of audience to take action and thereby expose your actual body, the body of the email is what I'm talking about, to the specific eyeballs that you want looking at it. Curiosity, this is the other group. Do you actually hate me? Now, this is awesome. That kind of a subject line is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to get a huge amount of opens. The other thing it's going to get you is probably a whole bunch of replies. Okay, so, but again, this is inciting action. It's getting people to interact with you, which is a good thing always. I'm about to burst into tears. About what? Makes you curious. That's it. I'm through. Why? Wow, I love this thing so much. What thing? Again, curiosity. Anytime you write a subject line that's triggering curiosity is going to give them a reason, and a compelling reason nonetheless, to open the email. This thing is going to change my entire business. What? My most embarrassing moment. Ooh, what was that? So you see the feelings that you're triggering in people, the hotspots that you're triggering? I made this for you. Oh, you did? What? What'd you make for me? I owe you an apology. Damn right you do. About what? And then they're going to open it, right? My secret weapon. Ooh, I knew it. You were hiding something. What is it? And then they're going to open it. Curiosity. Things my 10-year-old taught me about selling. Huh. That's probably going to be a good one. I've never used it, but I might. Okay, questions. Now, open-ended questions are something that I teach to stay away from. However, in many cases, asking a question that is a yes answer, or that's just like stupidly simple that the reader is definitely going to know the answer to, or that rather, hold on, not that they're going to know the answer to, but rather that they're going to have a reply for. If you ask a question that they're going to have a reply for, it will work very well to get them to open the email. So, for example, a subject line like, but isn't that black hat? Isn't what black hat? They're going to click on it to find out. Is SEO obsolete? I don't know. Is it? So is SEO, that's kind of borderline controversial as well. Are you prepared for the next panda? Oh, what the hell is a panda? Whether I'm prepared or not, I'm going to click this because I want to find out what he's talking about. Are you a man or a mouse? Now, this is a challenging headline as well, right? It's kind of challenging the manhood of the reader. Now, the problem with this is that the percentage of people that are opening this or that are reading this might be, men or women. So you kind of have to know your audience, right? So if you have a list that's made mostly of women, then this might not be a very powerful subject line to use. Why haven't you made six figures yet? Well, who the hell knows? I don't know. If I knew, I don't know. You know what I mean? They might open that up because of that. Have you taken advantage of this yet? That's going to work really well because people are thinking, oh, well, hold on, am I missing out? What is it that he's talking about? And they're going to click. So again, curiosity is going to work well with all of these, right? How long does it take you to write a sales letter? CPA network treating you fairly? How much could you have made? That's a good one. How much could you have made if, right? Because what do you mean? How much could I have made if what? And could you pass this test? So again, these are question email subject lines that have actually fared very well for Kenstar. Benefits. So if you can mention a benefit in the subject line, that's powerful. Particularly if someone is actually looking to have that benefit in their life. So if you're addressing a benefit or a solution, if you're putting in front of them a benefit of a solution that they crave, then you're going to get a high open rate on that email. Solve your SEO problem in the next 2 hours. So they're putting urgency in there. They're actually talking about SEO. So again, very, very tailored for that particular audience. So if you're not into SEO or if you don't want to know anything, you just skip over this. But if you are and you're promoting an SEO product, this is going to put the right eyeballs on that link. How to add 100 pages to your blog by next week. Well, I don't know. That sounds complicated. I don't think that would be for me. But for someone that's a blogger, that might be a very important thing. Program yourself to double your productivity. These are great subject lines because who doesn't want to be more productive? This is not niche dependent. This is not industry dependent. This is not, person. As a matter of fact, productivity is something that applies to anyone in any niche, of any gender, of any age, right? People want to be more productive, right? You want to produce more. You want to make more with what you have. So that is a very powerful one. Program yourself to double your productivity. Or how about something that says double your productivity using this, right? How to use PPC to boost sales without losing your shirt. How to keep site visitors on your blog for 5 minutes plus. Now, if anybody knows about bounce rates and site time, you know that 5 minutes is quite a bit of time, average time on site, so time on site is usually, in the seconds, let alone 5 minutes. Ask me anything about improving your business. Well, that's another one that's going to get you a lot of replies. Creating a top-selling WSO is easier than you thought. So if you're trying to reach the WSO market, again, that's a benefit for someone. Oh, wow, so it's easy. Yes, I've been trying to figure out a way to do that. These are the secrets only six-figure marketers seem to know. Now that's a benefit. I'm gonna be able to have a six-figure secret. This affiliate marketing expert reveals all his secrets. How to impress your clients for $10. Now that's really cool, right? I would love to know how to impress my clients for $10. Let's move on to the reporter ones. Okay, so this is like you're announcing some news, something like important that just happened, or that you're just reporting something. Headlines work really, really well to grab people's attention. And the important thing with headlines is they have to, really pull their eye. They've got to be compelling. So there's, you got to hit on the person's hot spot. You got to hit their curiosity, and you've got to make them want to open it. And the headline has to have shock value, right? So the reporter headlines, the reporter subject lines are really like newspaper headlines, the way that I see them. So imagine a subject line that says, "Big lies IM gurus are still telling." Oh my God, the humanity. What are they still telling me? And then they're going to click to see what you're talking about. The internet marketing fiasco. Now that is the subject line that I just recently used. I actually used the affiliate marketing fiasco. Huge open rate and huge click-through rate, worked amazing for me. So there you go, little secret. I just used that, and I got it from Kenster. Thanks, Ken. And now we've got, I have some important news, ... Well, what's your news? This is going to get such a huge open rate. Now, depending on what the news is and whether or not it applies, you're kind of, you're kicking the can to the next break point. You're getting people to open the email, but now it's not very targeted. So everybody is going to open it, whether it applies to them or not. You might be promoting a SEO product, a Facebook product, a golfing product, who knows? You might have important news about improving your golf swing, or you might have important news about list building. So every single person that's on this list is going to open this, but now you're going to have a very low click-through rate because you didn't qualify in this headline, right? But you got them in. So if your goal is to get as many eyeballs on a link as possible, then that's the kind of line that you use. 7-figure marketer misses out on 1.5 million. New case study, right? So that's another one. It's like a headline. It's like something you'd read on the top of a newspaper. New case study on 2012's hottest niches. The big traffic generation model surefire methods, or rather, surefire methods to business suicide. Now that's something that would work really well, right? Surefire methods to business suicide. Why would I open that? Well, because I don't want to commit business suicide. The latest statistics on IM failure rates. Popular myths that everyone believes. That's a good one, right? So what's a myth? And what myths are you talking about that are popular? And is that something that I believe, right? So again, you're piquing my curiosity. I'm gonna go in there and put it in. A ClickBank Pro finally speaks. So this one kind of insinuates the fact that no ClickBank professional has ever spoken before, right? But again, these pull on the right emotions, and they're gonna get people to open up. Universal issues, things that kind of appeal to the majority of your readers. Still not making 1,000 plus sales? We'll show you how. Not getting enough traffic? What's enough traffic? Have you ever met anyone that said, no, I've got enough traffic, couldn't use any more, no, thank you. Of course, everybody, these are yes questions. The secret to high conversions. Well, why would I not want to know that? No, I want to keep my conversions right where they are. Wondering when you'll replace your job income? Okay. Had enough of false promises? Yes. Who hasn't had enough? Who on God's green earth would say to you, no, I really want to be lied to some more. If you've ever wanted a surefire way to find a profitable niche, dot, 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 right? Now they're going to open up to find out, well, what do you mean? What's he talking about? The cheapest way to get 10,000 subscribers. Well, okay, awesome. I want to know the cheapest way. You know, who wants the most expensive way? Nobody wants them. You could say the cheapest way to anything. And they're going to, you know, insert whatever item there. The cheapest way to, you know, improve your golf swing. The cheapest way to learn how to swim. The cheapest way to, you know, get rich. Whatever. It's everybody wants to know the cheapest way to do something. The fastest way, just the same exact thing. The fastest way to attract big time affiliates. The fastest way to learn to swim. The fastest way to make money online. The fastest way to anything. It's a universal desire, right? To be the fastest, to have the cheapest. You know what I mean? I was wasting my time with niche marketing until dot dot dot, again, a suspenseful one. How to overcome your fear of failure. That, you know, that's another one. Universal. Who is not afraid to fail? Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there that aren't afraid to fail, but who hasn't failed, right? Who hasn't experienced failure? Who hasn't had to deal with that question at one point or another in their life? Urgency. Urgency is very powerful. You've always heard me talk about FIGS, fear of loss, indifference, greed, and sense of urgency. Things like, it's almost over, dot, dot, dot. Well, what's almost over? I better hurry up. I better click this right now. Only 17 left. Oh my God, am I going to be number 16? You have 48 hours. Oh my God, wait, starting from right now? Wait, let me find out. This is happening tonight at 10 p.m. Oh my God, let me go in there. Attention, don't let this opportunity pass you by. Time's nearly up. Last chance. The deadline is Monday, the last day. Just 24 hours left. Then it's gone for good. All of these make you feel like, oh my God, wait, am I going to miss out? Wait, let me click this, and before I do anything else, let me just make sure this isn't something that I might need. It's going to get people to take action now. That's what I love about urgency. There's some very, very good emails that, you know, might segment people and might get them to open, but they don't necessarily put them into that emergency mode, like, oh my God, I better act right now. These subject lines have urgency, and when the user opens them, not only are they going to get to see your body copy, but they're going to be in that hyper, better take action right now kind of a mode. Numbered lists. Numbered lists work really well for some reason. People just love that, you know, that exactitude, that specificity of an amount of things. 10 things you need to know before you start PPC, before you start this, before you start that. Again, you can replace PPC with anything you want. 7 things that will guarantee your failure. You know, that's powerful. You know, sometimes guaranteeing failure is even more powerful than guaranteeing success, right? Because people tend to take a successive guarantee as a false promise. But a guarantee of failure, you know, that's something that they're much more used to experiencing. They're much more used to experiencing failure than they are success. So, in their minds anyway. So, if you use that as a subject line, you're really going to compel people to, okay, well, wait a second, hold on, let me see why. What are these 7 things? 6 ways to generate a passive income. And again, the number can change and the item can change. What we're talking about, 6 ways, 6 steps, 15 big mistake, whatever. The number can change and the topic can change, but it's the numbered list that's important. For example, 3 things you should never, and then blank, outsource. You should never do yourself. You should never, buy. You should never sell. 3 things you should never, and replace that word. 9 reasons to forget about SEO for traffic, or 9 reasons to forget about, again, insert whatever you want there. 5 warning signs that a niche is in trouble, a niche isn't worth the money, a product is good, a product isn't good, warning signs. So again, people are like, oh, wait, I better look at this. The 2 most essential resources you need to profit online. Again, very important for people that are trying to make money online. They're going to get opened. Controversial. Look, if you've learned anything from Miley Cyrus, that is that controversy, and sex sells, right? But controversy is really important in today's news and today and in any days. When you create controversy, when you create that kind of an air around your subject line, people are going to be like, "Oh, wait, let me look into this because I need to know what side of the line I'm going to stand on with regard to this controversy." Be very careful when listening to this guy. Well, what do you mean, what guy? That guy, is that somebody that I already listened to? Do I agree with this? Is he talking bad about somebody I like, or is he talking good about somebody I don't like? Well, let me open this email. And again, you got them to look at your body copy. PPC stands for piss poor conversions. Now, the dash in the word piss obviously is what he's implying. So a lot of people do this sometimes, and you got to be careful because sometimes doing this to words can trigger the spam assassin filter, and it can actually push your email out of the inbox and into the spam folder. So be careful about using things like that, but they work very, very well. I made a mistake. Well, what do you mean you made a mistake? This might get you in trouble, but it works. So there you got the a little bit of a mischievous angle. Why I'll never use ClickBank again. Okay, so again, controversy. People are going to click this just to kind of be in it. And controversy gets people to look. People love to see what's going on. This is why tabloids sell, right? The worst piece of advice I was ever given by a millionaire. Why they want you to fail. A blog post that'll make your blood boil. Now, a blog post that you would think, when people don't want their blood boiling, you'll be amazed at how many people click on that. How a complete idiot made more money than I did. Wow. So that's incredible, because what'll happen is a bunch of people are going to be like, oh, well, I want to find that out because if an idiot did it, I can do it too. I can make more money than him, right? And they're going to put themselves in the idiot spot on that subject line by default. So it's going to work for you. Popular software you should think twice about using. All right. So again, these could be plays on words, but these are the kinds of things that are going to get people to open up your emails, okay? And like I said earlier, finish them with suspense, the ... the continuation. All of these things are going to cause people to click the email and read the copy. Use Kenster's tips, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.